time and chance
I have the voice coming in over the clouds.
For the last 12 months, I've been lucky enough to be working on a television adaptation of the New Zealand writer Janet Frame's autobiographies.
It's really one of the few shots that we have that really shows New Zealand island water.
I think I grew up with a curiosity about Janet Frame. So I can remember when I was about 13 years old, I read Ours to Cry and found it very moving, very lyrical and affecting, especially when you're sort of 13 years old and you're just starting to get your own sense of emotional, imaginative world. When I heard that she has actually chosen to write her own autobiography and the first volume came out, of course I was naturally very curious to read what she herself said, but curiosity was just the first item of it. What I really found happening was that I was discovering my own childhood again and feeling the specialness of that New Zealand childhood through Janet's book.
I don't know, it's funny when you look at your life and you try and think whether you had a happy childhood or not. It seems that childhood is full of different experiences, you know. Some of them feel very lonely, some of them feel like full of no cares at all, and others feel like big worries and what's happening in the world. School was a real trial for me. It got worse as I got older. I hated it. I could not behave myself. I just could not be good. My whole sort of character didn't fit in particularly well at school. In fact, I couldn't work out why we were there.
This is the story of my childhood. In August 1924, I was born Janet Patterson Frame. My twin, who was never named, died 2 weeks later. We were a railway family, living in the remote South Island of New Zealand. It was not until we moved to Oamaru and I started school that I realised we were poor, smelly and unpopular.
The sort of simple but obvious thing that I'd like to suggest was that you just take a bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
Also feel for me there's a sense of, you know, the simpler and plainer you can be with that, whatever, you know, gives you that sort of feeling of wanting to be simple and plain.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you're coming clean, isn't it? This sort of sense of not hiding anything from anybody. This is me.
Okay.
This is my story.
Okay. This is the story of my childhood.
Well, I think the autobiographies are more hardy in a way than her other literature, and I immediately felt an affinity towards them, and that I felt such a deep feeling for them, and I really loved the vulnerability of the works and the intimacy and the openness that I felt quite capable of understanding it and wanted to communicate it further, I suppose. So I didn't feel scared of that fragility or anything like that. I felt excited and kind of passionate. She's a very mature woman that can, her life is her art, and she's not got secrets of the type that, you know, a lot of us have. She is quite honest. She's got a tradition of truth in her. But the impression that Janet gave of me was someone who had combined a lot of wisdom with a great childlike innocence of the world even today, you know.
Wonderful, Nini.
I understand it to be that the table is like a workplace and the angel is her inspiration. And also I think the angel, especially you said in the second episode where she is rescued from lobotomy or possible lobotomy in the hospital, is also in the shape of those people that helped her, like Frank Sargison. And it's those people that have just rescued you at a special moment or supported you and helped you. And I think we've all had those angels in our lives, and I think that's what she means.
Rose, an arm, clad in white samite, mystic, wonderful, and caught him by the hilt.
It was not until we moved to Oamaru and I started school that I realised we were poor, smelly, and unpopular.
Good work. I'm just curious to see what a touch more, when I say softness, I mean there was a sort of slightly strident note there.
Stand by and recording.
In August 1924, I was born Janet Patterson Frame.
What Kerry Fox
That's when
brings
he
to the
was
Janet
never
Frame
named, died 2
character
weeks
is an
later.
immense honesty and freshness,
We were a railway
which to
family,
me is Janet
living in a
anyway.
remote South Island of
Her
New
commitment
Zealand.
was extraordinary, and it was very much
It was
something
not until
that
we moved
drove
to
me
Oamaru
on.
and I started school.
I had to match her, and
I
likewise she
realised
had to
we were
match me.
poor, smelly, and unpopular.
Imagine that you were telling this to an interviewer.
Okay.
Someone like that. It's sort of informational, isn't it?
She is so giving and so determined and demands so much from you. She wants your best work. She wants the best from you, and she knows that she can get the best from you, and that's so exciting. When somebody there is saying, give me everything you can do, give me, and I'll take it. And Jane was always protective, always supportive, and always determined to get what she could out of me, push me further, go deeper. I never felt that I was portraying Janet Frame, the person. I was always portraying Janet Frame, the character in the script, a dramatic portrayal of her work. It did take me over, certainly. Also, from the beginning, Jane maintained that I must be Janet on set. I must be Janet in the rehearsal rooms, must be Janet whenever I was at work. And that means, basically, you know, when you're working on a film shoot, that's all you do.
Kerry Fox stood out to me immediately for her freshness and openness and countryness. And I kind of fell in love with her immediately. I met her. And I can remember feeling this slight smiling, you know, because I thought, oh, this girl could be Janet, I'm so happy. And I was very, very worried because when we told her she was on the shortlist and I'd like to meet her again, we said, have you read the books? And she said, no, she hadn't. And we thought, oh, no, she's not interested, you know. And then it turned out that she hadn't read them because she was so keen to get the part. She couldn't stand to live with disappointment if she had read the books. She's read every other book of Janet Frame, but just not the autobiographies. We went around the schools, working class areas in Auckland, to try and find shy kids. Of course, we'd sweep into a classroom and, you know, poke a finger at a few people and they thought, oh, what have I done wrong, you know? Have to send notes home to their parents. And Lexia was a terribly shy girl, but sort of had a kind of wisdom and a stillness and cuteness, or, you know, snuffly breathing and all that kind of stuff that we thought in the end would be good. And she was 7. All of the New Zealand acting population was pretty new to me. I think that was also good for us because it enabled us to see them freshly and see people for what they could contribute to our project rather than, you know, what soapies or whatever else they'd been in.
Sorry to disturb you. We wanted to beat the Dunedin papers to it.
To what?
Your story.
I've been away from the country for some time. I think I have some take on what makes New Zealand's landscape so unique. The hills, the green hills, and visitors to New Zealand hadn't been there before looked at the grass and said, this redefines green to me. It's just a different colour, and the light in New Zealand is extraordinarily intense, so that colours are very, very vibrant, and a lot of people who like the European look try and move away from that, but I love that about New Zealand, the blackness of the shadow and the strength of colour that you get there.
Shall I like a fool, quoth he, for a hearty is it tea. She may go to France for me, ha, the mowing lot.
Trying to understand the world each time I make a movie, you know, each time the material comes to you, and different sort of offerings or opportunities to really understand the world that you're living in and what it is to be a human being in this world. And I mean, I think that's basically the adventure of living.